I assume you are one of them. Great. Welcome to the club. I respect your decision. And now the question is, what should you do? Well, in the 20+ years we have spent in starting and growing our own companies, Naukri.com, 99acres.com and Jeevansathi.com, and through our own experience of investing in more than 24 startups, we have learned a lot. We have experimented with business models, tried out multiple options, and backtracked when required. At times, we have even gone into hibernation to think. Fortunately, I have had many opportunities to pass on some of this learning to young startups. I have been mentoring and advising some of them, and I enjoy doing that. The problem, of course, is that one cannot possibly meet all the thousands and thousands of founders out there. And that is why I am delighted that Dhruv and Sushanto have written a book on the subject. That too, on the extremely important subject of fundraising. I have known both of them for several decades now. Sushanto has been involved in the startup scene for more than 20 years, culminating in the launch of Lead Angels 6 years ago. We have had several occasions to discuss the startup scene in India, and I must say, he is extremely knowledgeable and passionate about the subject. Dhruv and I have been on panel discussions together, and I was impressed with his clarity of thought, as well as his ability to explain complex subjects in a simple manner. Interestingly, the ideas of both Dhruv and Sushanto are more or less similar to mine. So, much of the advice they share in this book is perhaps advice I, too, would have given you. And therefore, I genuinely believe that they are the right people to write such a book and advise founders. Ultimately, you need to learn from others, and the authors have described several startups in this book, all in the form of interesting stories. I am particularly delighted that they have taken up a wide range of startups. On the one hand, they have taken expert advice from some of the highly successful founders in the startup world, such as Deep Kalra of MakeMyTrip, Yashish Dahiya of PolicyBazaar, Dinesh Agarwal of IndiaMART, Pradeep Gupta of Cyber Media, Nakul Kumar of Cashify, and Sairee Chahal of SHEROES. But they have also spoken about much smaller startups, those that have started recently and are rarely spoken about. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, they have discussed some failures as well. Now that's really great, because no one talks about the failures. And therefore, potential entrepreneurs can never learn from the mistakes they have made. I like the fact that Dhruv and Sushanto have tried to create a framework for potential startups, which they call persistent. Running a company is a complex business, and raising funds equally so. You need guidelines that you can refer to from time to time, and that's what the persistent framework provides. Mind you, it's not a formula. It cannot be, but it's a very good set of guidelines. And that's exactly what the authors have said in this book. The persistent framework is a set of guidelines that you should keep referring to throughout your journey. So let's get down to some specifics. I believe the most important thing in determining the success of your startup is to identify the right opportunity. I would say it's 60% of the recipe for success, where you have identified an unsolved problem and have a solution for it, and where the customer comes to you rather than you chasing the customer. This is the starting point for the persistent framework in the book. Namely, are you solving a problem, and will people pay for it? How are you doing it better than competition? And what's your entry barrier? Now for the subject of funding. Always remember, the customer's money is much better than the investor's money, as long as it is coming in regularly and is higher than your costs, because you then have a viable business. This is especially important in the post-COVID